Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. In this video, how to source quality tea. In this video, I'm going to show you how we source our teas. This video is going to go under the Tea Trips playlist. If at any point in time you enjoy this video, then please give the video the thumbs up. The more thumbs in the air, the more tea videos are going to come your way. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, then go click that button. I am frequently asked how we source our teas, and I thought, hey, why don't I just bring you along with us? I travel to the Far East usually a few times a year to source teas. This time we're traveling from London to Fenghuang village, which is close to the border of Fujian province in Guangdong province. The journey is going to take the best part of a day. We never know what to expect on these journeys. It's always full of adventures, but I hope that it's going to give you an insight into the life of a tea buyer. So my bags are packed, the taxi's about to arrive. So if you're ready, let's go to China. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at Beijing Capital International Airport.
Okay guys, so we're in Beijing. We've been traveling for about 15 hours, 10-hour flight, and we slept for about 4 hours. So not bad, but we're pretty tired. We now have got to wait another 4 hours in Beijing airport before we get on another plane to go to Chaoshan. That's about a 3-hour flight, and then we've got a 2-hour drive up into the mountains. So we've still got about 9 hours traveling still to go. We're gonna grab something to eat, and I'll see you when we get to our hotel. So we're finally here at our hotel in Raoping City, which is near Fenghuang village. Fenghuang village is about 2 hours drive away. We're going to set off tomorrow morning and go. It's been 23.5 hours journey door to door to get here, so I am exhausted. I'm going to take a shower and I'm going to hit that bed, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Hey guys, it's the next morning. I've had 7 hours sleep and I'm feeling altogether more human. It's a lovely misty day outside, perfect tea country weather. I've got a gaiwan of Dancong, not a great Dancong, that the hotel have supplied. We've had breakfast and we're about to drive up for about 2 hours to Fenghuang village, to Phoenix village. And the mission for today is recon. It's about speaking to as many farmers as possible, looking at leaves, finding out about this year's harvest and tasting tea. Now, of course, we already have suppliers up in Phoenix village, but if I meet them too early, then I'll get sucked into a politeness exercise where I'll have to spend too much time with them. And what I really want to do is taste what other farmers have to offer. Now, that may sound a little bit unfaithful to you, but I think I'd be doing my customers a great disservice if I just blindly buy from the same supplier every year. So I'm going to go and explore and taste as much tea as possible, and I will see you up in the mountains. So this is Oolong village, which is further up the mountain to Phoenix village, and this is where the best Dancong is produced. You can smell the wood fire in the air, the wood they're using to burn to heat the tea. So every one of these places is producing their own tea. You can see every single household is producing their own tea. And it's very loud and noisy, but you could probably spend about a month here. They love to hoot. So you could spend about a month here just tasting teas from the different households before you could find the one that is your tea. Just walking up Wudong village, we're stopping into different farmers' homes to taste their tea. So who knows, might be great, might not be. This is the random chance that you have, but we're in the perfect location to find amazing Dancong. Look how much leaf he uses to the gaiwan. Normally we say, you know, half full, maybe kind of 2/3 full. This is bulging with tea leaves. So one of the things of Chaozhou style brewing is that they use a gaiwan and they don't tend to use a gongdaobei. They don't pour into a fairness cup. The skill of the brewer is to be able to pour evenly from the gaiwan to the cups to provide an even brew for everybody to try. So this tea is definitely a tea that I've never tasted before. It tastes very fresh, very bright, very, very clean, short finish. and a very fragrant almond flavor, like marzipan. So this is known as chuduo tea or jigsaw tea because the edge of the leaf is serrated. But the Mr. Liu Senior is saying that it's just a new name for Xingren, which is the almond flavored tea. So it goes to show that you never know really if it's a new cultivar or if they've just renamed it for marketing purposes. So that was our first taste of 2016 Dancong from this farmer. And I felt that it was lacking a body and a depth to it. Now I'm not sure if that was because of the cultivar, because of the harvest, but it was a bit too thin and a little bit too much of a short and quick finish. I like to look for teas that have a longer finish and a more strong, warming flavor profile. So we're going to keep looking. We found an amazing Dancong here. The aroma is incredible. This is a Songjong Dancong, second generation.
Almost my age, over 30 years old.
So about 30-year-old, second generation graft from the Songjong tea tree. And the flavor is so deep, it's got so much body. The fragrance is so sweet, like it's like marzipan and flowers. It's gorgeous. And the body is really rich. Now, this is still Maucha. This is still not being charcoal roasted yet. So this is not had its full flavor maturation yet. So this is going to be charcoal roasted, and then I'm sure it's going to be even better. But just tasting the Maucha, this is a really special tea. This is a Jianghua Xiang ginger flower, and it is so unbelievably fragrant. The flavor is really, really almost creamy to it. It reminds me of dare I say it, superior version of a Jinshuan, but with more of a kind of floral notes to it. Unfortunately, it's very much out of our price range. I've just found out the price of this, and this is something in the region of $800 a kilo for wholesale. So that means 100 grams wholesale would cost $80, which means any tea supplier would be charging multiples of that. So it's way out of our price range, but we can enjoy it now. And unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to bring any of this back to London. Wow, the fragrance is something unbelievable. This is second generation ginger flower Dancong.
So let me further explain a little bit.
If only I could transfer this fragrance through this camera. It is amazing. The other thing about being in tea country is when you eat a meal, they will always ply you with alcohol. And they won't trust you or do deals with you unless they see you drunk. Just watch. Cheers. Cheers. Good morning, it's day 2 here. We're at a hotel at the top of Wudong Mountain. You're going to have to forgive me. I'm quite hungover as usual. The farmers want to get the foreigners drunk and they succeeded last night. Also, I'm still on London time, or my time circuit's a little bit frazzled, so I only got 4 hours sleep, but I'm here. It's a sunny day and I'm excited to try more Dancongs. So yesterday we tried 4 new farmers and tasted their teas. 3 of them we were not too impressed with the tea. It was good, but not quite the quality that we're looking for. One of the farmers had amazing tea, really, really incredible tea, but very, very expensive. In my opinion, a little bit overpriced. So what we're going to do today is we're going to meet our current suppliers of Dancong and see how the 2016 harvest is for them. Now, one of the issues that we have at the moment is because everybody is harvesting at the moment, the tea is not finished. It's being made into mao cha. It's being made into raw processed tea. So it hasn't gone through the extra steps of maturation and charcoal roasting. So we're having to taste a tea and take a guess at what it's going to become. And this is one of the skills that you develop as a tea buyer, is tasting the mao cha and knowing that some of the rough edges are going to be rounded out and taking a good educated guess at what that tea is going to become. So let's go and see what our current supplier has in store for us. So we're at our tea supplier's plantation and they're picking around us, and nested within the plantation is a Song Dynasty tree. So take a look over here. This is a 700-year-old tea tree, and it's still very healthy. It's flushing. It'll be picked in about 3 days' time, and it will produce about 6 to 7 kilos of single tree tea. That's to say that they're not going to mix this with anything. This batch of tea will be solely from this tree and will be very expensive, but highly revered. So that's an example of a 700-year-old tea tree. So we're at our current supplier's factory, and they're producing this Dancong. And this one here is the ginger flower Dancong, and it's fresh out of the oven, so it's still really warm, and it's a really wonderful opportunity to smell the warm leaf, which is giving off so much aroma. And the smell is incredible. It's like sweet flowers, but the overarching aroma is one of almonds and butter cookies. Really buttery and luxurious and comforting, really warming. This is ginger flower Dancong, and you can just pick up this kind of zesty freshness, this certain ginger spiciness on the nose, but the real dominant aroma is that of these lovely baked cookies. Amazing. See, this is a happy face. This is a ginger flower Dancong. I don't know the price yet. 2016 harvest. This is a mao cha, so it hasn't been baked yet. It hasn't even been sorted. This is rough tea, and already this tea is just bursting with fragrance. The aftertaste is very much like I wouldn't say ginger, more like galangal, like really perfumed gingeriness. So I'm really happy because our current supplier is certainly doing an amazing job, and I'm looking forward to tasting all of her teas. And this is from very old tea trees. How old are the tea trees? 300-year-old Dancong tea trees. This is in their entire harvest from the year. So this is about 1.5 to maybe just under 2 kilos of tea. And it goes to show you the kind of rarity that you can get to. So one supplier can only produce less than 2 kilos of this tea. I'm hoping that we can try it. She's certainly being very generous. So you can see how the Gai one is overflowing with leaf. This is proper Gong Fu brewing. Huh. It's got a slight jasmine taste to it. Actually surprisingly soft, considering that it's a mao cha. It's very soft. It's got a thick mouthfeel, but a very soft finish. Second infusion looks a bit stronger. Let's give it a try. Definitely stronger. So this has a real mineral taste at the start. So slaty and rock, so similar to the rock oolong mineral notes. It's still got a buttery aroma. Still got a kind of jasmine-y nose when you breathe out. But the finish is really nice. It's got this slight citrus fruit finish, like a grapefruit or a pomelo finish to it. This is gorgeous. I daren't ask the price if they're only producing less than 2 kilos a year, but it's a real privilege to taste. We've left the mountains and we've gone to the villages below. Up in the mountains we were tasting mao cha, the freshly picked tea, and now we're tasting the finished tea, either from this year or from last year. And it's a simple case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because our current supplier is still the best tea that we've tasted. We're tasting through their samples, and we've just discovered this one here. This is a Songjong. So this is from the Song, this is second generation graft from the Song Dynasty trees. And it is a wonderful tea. I will be doing a video on this separately, but we are going to get a clutch of teas and we're going to head back to London. Hey guys, I'm in London. I arrived in around midnight last night. The flight was a couple of hours delayed due to bad weather in China. It was another epic trip, but I've got some sleep and now I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor with some fresh Dancong from the mountains. So why do I source tea in this way? Well, there are 5 reasons. The first reason is simply that this kind of specialty high-grade tea is very difficult to get if you don't go direct to source. Most of this tea is sold to the local market. The second reason is price. Because I'm going direct to source, it means I cut out the middlemen and I can negotiate a better price. The third reason is education. I get to taste so many different types of tea. I get to see the tea production from the field to the cup. And that gives me knowledge, which adds value to my business and adds value to hopefully I can impart onto you. The fourth reason is supplier relationships. I've now drunk lots of tea, shared dinners with these suppliers, and that means that I'm much more likely to get the better quality tea from them. I've also picked up many contacts and drunk lots of tea from other producers, and that means that if next year my suppliers do not make the grade in terms of their harvest, then I can easily reach out and source from other people direct from source. And the fifth reason is simply personal. It is a great experience to travel to these tea mountains to see the tea being produced in such a beautiful environment. So this is one type of tea from one province. Now we have many different types of tea, so we endeavor to do this for all of our teas. And I have to say that this is not common practice. Most tea sellers will buy from wholesalers, either in China or Japan or Taiwan, or they will buy from wholesalers within their local area. Especially in Europe, it's the case that most of the tea is bought from tea wholesalers in Germany. So these big tea wholesalers, they go out and they buy tons and tons of tea to sell on to their market. Now the problem with this is, of course, that first of all, you can't find this kind of specialty tea because these wholesalers are looking to buy in large volumes at large profit margins. The second reason is that you're restricted to their catalogue. So if they decide not to stock a certain tea, then you simply can't get it. The third problem is price. The wholesaler obviously has to make their cut, and so they will add an extra price onto the cost of the tea. Now, it may seem quite extravagant for us to travel over to China, and it is an expensive process, but because I make savings purchasing direct from source, I can pass some of that savings on to our clients, and I can use some of that savings to fund these trips, and it means that we get better tea at a better price, and everybody learns from this experience. So I hope that this has given you some insight into the life of a tea buyer. That's it, tea heads. If you made it to the end of this video, then please give the video the thumbs up. Check out our YouTube playlist and let us know if there are any videos that you would like us to make. If you're ever in London, then please come and visit us in Camden to say hi and taste our wares. If you have any questions or comments, then please fire them over. Other than that, I'm Don May from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from the tea bags, keep drinking the good stuff, and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.